So my mother, she was a child when she came with her family to Israel, and I was born there and I was raised there. You know, the usual way. I was very Zionistic myself because that's how it is when you grow up in Israel as a Jew, in a very segregated place. So I hardly saw Palestinians, although it was in the south of Israel where I was born, and there were many Bedouins. So it was just, you know, part of the, yeah, part of the place, of the view that one had. But it's not that we went together to school or to other places. It was really very segregated. And during the second intifada, I decided I was really um, seeing what is happening in Israel, how the society is becoming very, unified in one story. It was after the years of the Oslo treaties where I had hope. For some reason, I was probably denying that it's not the fact that it's not a good treaty. But I was young and I was probably in a phase in my life in which I denied that, and I had really hoped that it's going to be better. And then came the second intifada, and it was quite clear that it's disaster and that it's not working. And also that the Israeli society is very supportive of all military action of Israel. And it was deteriorating very much in comparison to the time of the first intifada, for example. So I had the feeling that there is no critical mass of people that can, object what the government is doing, because everybody was supporting that. All Zionist Jews, let's say, which is the vast majority of Jews in Israel. So I decided to leave the country, and I had the luxury that I could come to Germany and enjoy the golden years, I must say, of Berlin, which are now unfortunately gone. And after the 7th of October, they banned it until the 26th of October. So no pro-Palestinian demonstration was allowed. It was not possible for people, also for Palestinians who were watching their family members being murdered by Israel, to express something about that in the public sphere. The German police was going through streets in places where many Palestinians lives, and in Berlin there is the biggest community of Palestinians in Europe. And the policemen were going to the living room of people, to their house, and forcing them to take flags out of the living room. They were beating, also young people, children. I mean, we saw pictures that we know from the West Bank with a lot of police violence against Palestinians. So if you walked in the street also with a kafia, you could be arrested, for example, or being beaten, or a Palestinian flag, for example. And parallel to that, the German state organized pro-Israeli demonstrations with a lot of money, bringing people, the church, speakers of public institutions, posing the Israeli flag on institutions. Until now, if you go to the Berlin Mairie, you see the Israeli flag there. And 2 years before, when Russia invaded Ukraine, everything was covered with Ukraine flags. So it was clear that, and Germany said also, the politicians were standing with Israel. There is no millimeter, between Israel and Germany, and that's it. So our organization also applied to have a demonstration in Berlin, and we were refused to, as Jewish Voice. So I talked with law professionals, and I asked them, I said, I mean, it's impossible. I mean, that's a basic human right. It's actually in the German constitution. So actually, it's not allowed to do something like that and to prevent it from us. And I asked whether I can go alone by myself. And I was told, yes, as one person, you can go on the street, say whatever you want, and it's not considered to be a demonstration or an assembly. It's not an assembly. So I went by myself, just with a placard I wrote about, as a Jew and Israeli, stop the genocide in Gaza. And I knew that I have to write that I'm Jewish and Israeli in order to, maybe to be able to do that, because otherwise I would be beaten. It wouldn't be possible to do something like that. And the moment I stood there, I went with my placard. 5 policemen came to me and told me to take it down. So I asked them why, and they said, I mean, it's not allowed, and it's forbidden to do it here. And they told me that if I'm going to argue with them, they are going to take me and to detain me. And I didn't stop. I said, oh, well, I need to know why. So they detained me and they took me to the police car.